Plaintiff Rosemarie Mastriani claims her former roommate stole from her, mismanaged their money, and caused damage to their shared home. She is suing for $2,500. Defendant Denise Pariso claims she did pay her part and says she owes nothing.
As I understand it, this isn't the first time you guys have moved in together.
I met Denise when I started school. She was the financial aid officer.
She was I was a teacher
student.
also too, and she was one of my students.
And then years later, I was looking for a job, and she looked out for me, and I started working. So we worked together.
Right.
We
Go
lived
ahead.
previous at my first home.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, she needed a place. I needed help. So she moved in. Life happened.
Sure.
I lost my job. I was diagnosed with cancer. She lost her job.
Oh,
Just
I'm
lots
sorry.
of stuff going on. I had to find a new place. And I said to her, if you're going to help me.
So who lives in that house?
My kids and I live upstairs, and she rented the space downstairs. Separate living quarters completely. She said she would help me with startup costs, and she never did. And on move-in day, she moved right in.
When you say startup costs, what is that?
Security, deposit, first month.
You would split that? How much was the first month's rent?
Rent was $1,500.
Okay. All right. So you wanted from her the first half.
Right.
I mean, half of the first month's rent,
Well, I
half
wanted
of the security deposit?
Right.
And what did she pay?
of the startup cost.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. What about that?
I paid first month's rent.
Well,
That was the way the lease read was first month security and last month's rent. $1,500 for the first month, $1,500 for the last month, and $1,500 for the security. I paid first month, my first
mean
month.
your half?
My half of the first month. I paid my half of the
Who'd you
second
pay
month.
it to?
Her. I gave it to Miss Mastriani.
Do we have any proof of that?
No, unfortunately, my proof was she took all the receipts except the last month's rent. That one I had, and I could not find my receipt. I looked everywhere for it.
I'm not denying that she did not pay rent. That's not the issue. The issue is she promised to help me pay my parents back, and she didn't.
What you're suing her for is you want her to pay her half of the first month's rent and her half of the security deposit. That's what you're suing her for. And you're saying, because she didn't pay that, and you're saying that specific thing,
I did.
You
And I
did.
did not pay security. I will absolutely agree with that one. But I did pay the first month. What she did with the money that I gave to her,
what money did you give to her?
the $750. That was the first month's rent, and half of $1,500, $750. We had agreed also when we moved into there was that Rose and I would pay half of the rent, and with her, and then her kids, because they're older and they were both working, they were paying also to live in the home. That part would go towards the bills in the house, the heat, the electricity, cable.
I set up direct deposit so that we could have a bank account for the house. She never paid the bills from April till I found out in September.
And then I paid the bills.
And then she just plopped $1,600 on the table.
Okay,
but-
but you're not suing for the bills.
No, I'm not,
So-
but I'm just trying to explain to you that she stole from me and my kids and still didn't pay me back my $2,250. She was taking my $1,200 from my kids and I, putting $300 in, paying the rent. I'm not going to deny that, but there were the agreement we had for the bills.
I put $300 in, I put $800 in.
Well, where's the other $5 at the end of every month? Where did that money go? We were negative when I found all of this out.
We weren't negative.
We were negative
with-
34 and change. Based on my calculations, if it was being done the way we sat and talked about it, there'd be like $300 in there. There was nothing.
I understand that she wants her half of the thing, but the way the lease read was first, last, and security. I paid my first month rent. I gave her two
And
money
you
orders.
have no proof of that.
When she took whatever paperwork that was downstairs, the proof was in that paperwork.
But you admit you didn't pay the security
I
deposit.
meant I did not pay security. Absolutely did not pay security. And when we came to the end of it, when she said, well, you owe me this, and I'm like, if I give you security, I have to go back to your landlord and say, because now I'm no longer living here, you owe me half of that security deposit back. Because that's the way it would read.
Yeah, well,
And I didn't feel it was my right to do that because I never paid security deposit. So I never
The
went after.
agreement was that you had the responsibility to pay bills, right?
Yes, but unfortunately with COVID hitting and stuff like that, The bills. My main concern when we got to that point was making sure the rent was paid, because I didn't want to be in the situation that we were in prior, where we had to like scramble to find a place to live. Excuse me.
Were you without a place to live? No, Denise, I would have never left you in the street.
I understand
But if
that
all
part
that
of it, but
on
at
the
one
first
point,
address
we were
bothered you that much, why did you ask to move in with me to the second address? And now I have holes downstairs. I have big giant holes from when you moved in that I have to fix. So that comes out of a security deposit you never paid me, and it's gonna come out of what I've
What are
given
the
him.
holes from?
furniture.
Her moving her furniture in that didn't fit.
Yeah.
They tried to force it. So
The way the
those are
house is set up, it's a very old-fashioned home, smaller doors and stuff like that.
Your half of the first month would have been how much? again?
$750.
$750.
Okay, your half of the security deposit was $750.
Correct.
And your half of the first month's rent would have been
$750.
$750. So altogether, that would be $1,500.
Correct.
And you're suing for $2,500.
25, I gotta fix those walls.
I hear both of you, and I've got to figure out on the first month's rent. On the security deposit, I believe you have to pay that.
What about the walls? I
And-
gotta repair those walls, it's gonna be
I understand that's
sheetrock.
You're not suing for that. You're suing for the first month's rent and the security deposit. So
Correct.
based on what you're suing for, the items you're suing for, $1,500. I fine for the plaintiff $1,500.
I think he was fair. I mean, I do believe that I should have paid the $750 in the security deposit. For the first month's rent, I did pay it, but unfortunately, I don't have proof of that. So it was his decision was fair.
The biggest lesson I learned is to be totally communicative, and no matter whether or not you hurt the other person's feelings or not, you can't be responsible for everybody.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.